fact, the consumer is, I think, consumer should be dead already. Consumption is about, no? It's about addiction, it's about wasting, it's about, you know, this eternal growth all the time. So I don't like the word consumption, never liked it. For instance, people in my former company used to talk about consumption of movies, consumption of culture, and for me, there are things that shouldn't be consumed, no? Because then you can translate that into nature, into everything. So the point was that, no? Trying to think about the customer or people or whatever, just to try to change our mindset, no? So that was the idea. And this is, I don't know if you see this picture, it's not from the COVID time, it's when Trump won, no? And also for 2020, the people have made a logo, which is this, no? And it's quite interesting because most of the people say, we're still not in the half of the year, no? We're still, so let's see what happens until the end of the year, no? In fact, what I was seeing yesterday in Barcelona airport was very worrisome because the airport was empty. It was all the cars and all the buses and everything was parked. And that means that we are not polluting, but it means that it's going to have a crisis in autumn, that it was going to be terrible. So I don't feel at all positive, no? Because I see that, unfortunately, the economy and well-being is totally mapped to CO2 consumption. That's one of the problems. We have to decouple that. The thing is that we have the quality of life that we have because of oil and gas, no? And it was good while it lasted. But now we have to start thinking in a different way. But at the same time, we have to design a transition, because if not, it's going to be very dramatic, no? We can have a strong transition now with total collapse and starting again with an economy that is totally broken, or we have to create something that has to be faster and faster, because if we don't do that, obviously it's going to be a problem, no? But at the same time, we have people like this. On one side, we have the people that are too idealistic, that I don't think they get the complexity of the problems that we have. On the side, we have all these people. So we need to find a way to connect the reality, the material needs, with the purpose and our aspirations. You have to be realistic, no? So for me, this is one of the points. And we have this guy, he was drawing and smiling at the same time, no? He was drawing these people and smiling. He's a sadistic. Sadistic, no? But this is connected with a theme that I use a lot in my presentations, which is liminality. No? Who of you know liminality? Most of you, but who doesn't know what liminality is? You, and you, and you, 3, 4, okay. So no, liminality is an anthropological concept that it usually happens when there is a transition. And normally when you have a transition, you use it, you want to make it formal, you do it through rituals, no? And a ritual, what is that? For instance, if you're getting married, the moment that you start the wedding ceremony, you are not single anymore, but you're not still married. So you go through a process where you have also an internal conversation with yourself. Is this the right person? Am I going to be happy? A lot of conversation, a lot of fears that it can go wrong, it can go south. So you can have this situation that you get divorced, or then you can have a new life, no? You can rebirth. And liminality is, we're in a liminal moment with the COVID. We're in a liminal moment. The old way, we are talking a lot that the old economy wasn't viable, but the new one is not there. With technology, it happened the same. This technology is not promoting equality. It's promoting a lot of disequality, it's accelerating a lot of things and creating a lot of anxiety because people are thinking about what's going to happen with my jobs, no? What's going to happen with the young people that don't have opportunities, and the old people is going to be expelled out of the jobs because technology is going to take everything, no? So we have this situation when we are in the middle that this old model of consumption, of mass market, of depending on CO2 for growth, this eternal growth, linear growth, is not valid anymore, but we still are not finding this situation. So you have two alternatives. When you start this process, normally there is a triggering event. You start this process, the liminality, you separate yourself, you start thinking about confinement and lockdown. It was a good moment to think because you were totally separated and thinking, okay, when I go out, what am I going to find? No? And we were thinking and connecting with people connecting and talking about what is going to happen with the environment, with the economy, there are going to be jobs when we get outside, are we going to celebrate or not, no? Who is going to die in this moment, no? So we have a lot of ambiguity, disorientation, and anxiety. As everything that you do when you're in a transformational project. It could be also when you are getting divorced, but you're still living with your couple. You decided, you are liminal, you are still there in the house, you have a moment with the people, but you are still thinking that you have to make a new life, no? It happens also in the airports. You are living, but you're still in the city, no? So there's liminal spaces, no? So you have a lot of ambiguity, disorientation, and anxiety, no? And here you have a moment of crisis. And this is in the movies also. When the hero dies, suddenly you can think, is going to die forever in the movie is over, or it's going to rebirth, to be reborn, and then having a new opportunity, no? So you have moments of creativity, experimentation, sometimes an epiphany, no? And you have, if you see the crisis in coronavirus, you have like two very opposite attitudes. People creating, learning, connecting, talking, and doing things in the creative way. They were scared anyway, but they were trying to think about the lockdown and the COVID crisis as an opportunity for reinventing themselves. And at the same time, we have a lot of people that were totally scared. No, they were in the dark side. No, you have these people in the United States that are totally scared, and it's logical because they have basic jobs. They are losing a lot of things, so they want to. They are looking like selfish, but they're trying to self-protect themselves, no? To protect themselves. So the point is, what are we going to do in this crisis? Are you going to use it to be scared and to be isolated, or are you going to use it as a creative moment? And it depends on you if you have your bases covered. If you have your bases covered, it's very easy to be creative or whatever. But if you don't know if you're going to have a job in months, the normal thing is that you want to get out and risk even your life because you need to eat. No? A lot of people are scared. So I think we have to try to understand that, no? When we go out, we have like this resolution or new identity. We are transformed, and we can be transformed for the good if we have opportunities and we find a new way of doing things, or for the bad, which is failure, and we are totally fucked, no? So for me, we have to understand that we are in a huge crisis now, and it's not that the good people are good and the bad people are bad. I see a lot of good people doing bad things because of fear, and I see a lot of bad people doing good things. So it's totally ambiguous. You don't know what's happening. It's not black or white. And if you try to connect and empathize with people that they look like bad people now, you can understand why they do it. No? You are a little bit empathetic. No? So, which I think is the only way of solving problems. The problem that we have is that, for instance, with sustainability, is that everything is about pointing, blaming, and shaming. You are flying, you are eating an hamburger, no? And I'm the good guy, and you are the bad guy, no? So the problem is that we have to understand what happens here, no? And how can we design together an exit of this crisis, no? And this is more or less what happened. This is an empty airport. Yesterday, as I said, Barcelona, and the plane was totally empty. We have the model of consumption. On one side, this is changing because of Amazon and whatever, but also there are people thinking about not consuming anymore. So you have these empty malls. You have the role of technology in our jobs, and you have obviously the situation that is not. For me, it's a rehearse of what it can come. This is a junior pandemics. No, it's nothing. It's not dangerous if you compare it with others that are maybe coming. So it's a moment also an opportunity to learn how to deal with these disruptions in society and economy or whatever, no? And as I said, it's very easy being creative when you have all your needs covered. Very easy. And pointing to the people that are doing bad things as the bad guys, no? And also, this is the main problem, no? Liminality, as we said, is that the society and the structure is collapsing now. And the problem is that if we don't get out with a shared vision for the future, we can have a permanent liminality, which will be a lot of anxiety and a lot of conflict, no? Social conflict. And this is the dream of everybody, no? I think most of the businesses, when they are born, they have a purpose. The problem is that when they grow and they start looking at everything as numbers, it's about optimizing. That's the problem. But when you talk with people that are starting a business, or when you think when most of the big corporations today were founded, they have a noble purpose. The problem is the growth and getting to the market that you are optimizing for another thing, which are the shareholders. No? And now we are starting to reconnect to the stakeholders, no? Because we are seeing that this is not the way of being successful. No? There's a lot of people, and you see a lot of young people saying that I don't want to do a career like this. No? And many companies are having a lot of problems. But you still have people that think in the old way. I want money, I want a good car, I want a good life. No? And this is about having money in the account. So the world is very ambiguous and very confusing. No? And the problem is how can we align everything, because now it's totally disaligned. It's like no? And this is what we have. The opportunity is, if we succeed, we have the planet Earth. If we fail, somebody maybe can go to Mars. But there's a lot of work to do there. No? I think it's easier to solve the Earth problems if we get along together than terraforming Mars. No? So we have to find an opportunity, and we have to start to also to give opportunities to the people in emerging countries, because these people at the moment, they are racing from poverty with consumption and with CO2 and with the old ways of doing things, no? Industrializing. So if you look at history is something like that. It's about seeing the patterns and how the world evolves. No? And this is the problem. This is Richard Rohr, I quoted in the first talk. He's a theologist, no? And he says, this quote that I think is quite interesting, that it is when you have left the tried and true, but you have not yet been able to replace it with anything else. It is when you are between your old comfort zone and any possibility answer. If you are not trained in how to hold anxiety, how to live with ambiguity, how to entrust and wait, you will run anything to flee this terrible cloud of unknowing. No, this is why people, when maybe they are left, they start engaging in Tinder like crazy to demonstrate themselves that they are still, you know, it's like a shortcut, no? I'm back in the market. I want to, or when they have a crisis, they take pills. They don't want to go through this process of transformation, which is painful, no? So this is why a lot of people are trying to get back to the old ways of doing things. The new normal, they want it to be the old normal, no? And this is, if we fail, how does it like, no? And at the moment, this is plastic, pollution, but the economy is this. But we have a lot of people doing a lot of projects to end up with this, no? Yeah?
What is the picture on the right?
This is Amazon, the book. The books are, yeah. So I'm buying books from Amazon, so some of my books maybe are there, or in another place like this, no? This is like a data center, but in paper, basically, no? And also, one of the problems that we have is, this is more or less how can you build your work, no? Your job. So you have the motivations, the needs and survival, and this pay your bills, obviously. This is the first thing. If you don't have anything, you have to work in whatever, just to pay your bills and being able to eat. Do a great work that you feel okay, and make an impact and feel proud. This is very difficult for many people, no? For some people, being here is the ideal way, but for most people, they have to survive here. And other people that are even less than this, no? They are in the survival, totally survival model. So the problem is, how can we design, how can we create jobs and economy that can create this type of fulfillment, right? And when you think about profit, purpose, and the planet, at the moment this was the typical way that it was done. First was profit, then purpose was something that corporate social responsibility doesn't have anything to do. It was like philanthropy, wasn't totally out of the business. It was like a compensation. And also it had some tax deductions. So it was more or less good to do it, no? But it didn't have any impact. It was more like public relationships and communication, no? What we are doing now, we are trying to learn to connect purpose and profit. We are still, I think we are in this phase now, because we need to, how can we make a real business for my purpose and not saying stupid things about my purpose is in life is whatever, and it doesn't have anything to do with what you do every day. And how can we connect with this, no? How can we have a purpose, create a profit, connect the product with the people, and have something that is more like an ecosystem, and it's changing all the time. We have to manage this, no? Because it's normally it can move to the bad side and to the good side, no? And the problem is how can we connect this? And this is the complex thing, because I think everybody needs an opportunity to have a job. There are a lot of mediocre people, and they have the right to have a job. No? There are a lot of companies or bad entrepreneurs that are doing shitty products, but they have the right to earn their lives. So it's not about creating like a caste system with the talented people and the untalented people in different layers. No? And when we think about this liminal space, the idea is that we need to enter as a bold community. People, it's okay, it's going to be a mess, but let's go through this. And you need expert people, the people that are able to go through this. You need leaders for this. You don't need managers. You need people that have a vision and then can make people join together. This is not what Trump is doing in US, separating everyone. No? I think in Europe, people, despite the difference, are trying to join the people together and doing things. It's a struggle, no? But there is a will to do things, no? And we need to, I think, to find a common purpose, have a guide or a master that is going to lead through these moments, embracing chaos and uncertainty in a way of thinking about growth, as a more like putting purpose in action, no? And also being creative. I think it's not about thinking about the past, optimizing the past, which was broken, but also thinking about new possibilities, no? Imagination is very important in this moment. And then, after learning, moving forward. And if we fail, we are together to try it again, no? And this is the main thing. And liminality, all these rituals in society is because the people are celebrating the change from the winter to the spring to the summer. You have the solstice, the equinox. People celebrating things together to keep themselves together and to put some moments of change that they're going to identify. No, it's like, for instance, in New Year's resolutions. No, the people talking about the next year I'm going to do this and that. No, it's a celebration. Everybody share the resolutions. Nobody accomplished them, but they try to celebrate change. No, with the year, make it something that is positive, that is about growth. No, so the idea would be moving through this, understanding that we are in a mess, and starting to try to find and understand the other. Why these petrol guys are doing things. No, you said before that there is CEOs that said, I could move to sustainable and green energies tomorrow. I have the money, but the people are not ready for that. And for the people, it's not expensive for me. It's expensive for many people, but they have to do to their shitty jobs in an old car. No, and it happened in Madrid when part of Madrid was closed. A lot of people didn't have the money to change the car, so they can move through the city. No? So that's a problem that at the moment, all these clean energies are a luxury for many people, no? In many countries. And this is the challenge. How can we make them cheaper? And I think little by little we're getting there, and I hope we can accelerate. We're talking about the exponential of technologies. A lot of exponentiality is coming to healthcare, to energy, and to mobility, to other things, right? So the challenges are consumption. No? This is from Spain, 2017, Burger King. In Spain, we ate only in Burger King. There are more burger chains. 10.3 millions of kilograms of meat. And if you put all the burgers in all the patties in a line, you can go to Miami. Spain, 2017. So imagine what is that, no? This is. There is no bread, there is no transportation, but this is what we ate, no, with the burgers. So we are addicted to all of this, no? These are garment, clothes, H&M, whatever, fast fashion is this. And we have this, which is mobility. No? These people normally are going, I don't think they want to be trapped in a car, in a traffic jam. They have to go somewhere. It's not about, no? It's not about being in a car because it's fun. No? They have to have a work. This is expensive for them, and there are a lot of people that don't enjoy this situation. No? So, and then we have the fake dreams. No? I don't know if you are aware of all these fake images of dolphins in Venezia. It was in Venezia. It was many other places. So people were pushing images of an ideal world that nature is regenerating. It's not like that. No? And the problem is that if you lie with these things, the moment that the people find it's false, they get into a cynical state. No? So there is the challenge of being realistic and understanding what is the reality of things. No? And also, one of the problems is that the people need to get viral. Twitter is creating a lot of addiction. No? In my case, for instance, I discovered months ago that I'm the third oldest user of Twitter in Spain. And I had the new people from Twitter, they say, oh, respect. No, when I joined Twitter, we were freaks. We were just like, it was like an SMS. No? And we were sharing a lot of things, and I'm worried that people discover what the silly and stupid things that I used to tweet. No? For these people new at Twitter, they are like, respect, you are the third one. Or you are and Twitter wasn't like this. Now it's crap. No? You have a lot of hate, a lot of brilliant things. You have everything. No? But most of the thing is that the people are addicted to the likes and to the followers, no? As I was at the beginning. Now I don't care about that. I care about other things, fortunately. But still there are a lot of people that they need to get viral, to send messages, to do things, and that's the problem with technology, no? That it scales very well, and it can reach a lot of people, and that's a problem, no? So, if we think about linear thinking, which is how we build the world that we are now, what we did was designing at scale. No? It was about mass production. Everybody can have a television, a fridge, clothes, everything. And it was good for a moment. No? A cheap car, cheap energy, heating at home, whatever. No? And it was based in the Industrial Revolution and also military culture. It was about the scale and volume. No? And all the companies were born in the corporations were born in this mentality. No? And you have also the consultants, the business specialists trying to scale everything and to make it more productive and less costs and more revenue. No? So the problem is that this is a Western way of thinking. For other Western people, there is only the right thing of doing things. We are polar, black or white. No, there is the right model. This is plateau. No? Philosophy, you have the ideal models and you try to make a plan and then execute it. No? And normally it doesn't work like that. No? So this is how companies normally were built. No? It was built in a very Western tradition. No? And you have design in that moment was like this when we started. It was about how can we transform this, which is a fridge, into something that is a product, how can we differentiate it, how can we put industrial design so that we can create something that is different and interesting for the people, and also how can we create a brand and communicate it so we can sell more and more and more. No? So we have, this is the beers, they have the TVs, you have different ways of using design just to scale the production and sell more. No? And this is the typical way how things work. No? I work in a consulting company, as you know, and the point is that you have this PowerPoint with the numbers, you think this is the solution, you do a plan, and then when you launch it, there is a disconnection, and then this is when the people start touching the business. It doesn't work. No? The numbers don't represent how people work and how people do things. No? So you need a lot of people that are more like leaders or people that have a vision, and also you have to start on the opposite. You have to start from the mess, understanding people, and then doing the plan. No? And when we talk about digital, this is more or less the key for making something work, convenience. Convenience is good for sustainability, but it's good also for Amazon. Why did we start getting fat? Because it was easier to eat bad food than good food. Why the shops are closing in our neighborhoods? Because it's more convenient buying from Amazon than going to the street. No? So we are getting addicted to convenience. No? And this is the guy from the country sustainability manager from IKEA. He's saying that convenience should be the right thing to do so we can create more sustainable businesses. No? Because now the convenience was to self-destruct us. No? And the thing is that if there is no value, there is no future. I work in design, digital design, since many years, and until I think 5 years more or less, design was crap. Suddenly McKinsey and all these consulting companies are starting to see the value of design. And suddenly you have a better salary, you have better projects, you have more strategic conversations with companies. No? But the thing is that until we didn't get the right position for value, we didn't get anything. So it was like a marginal work. No? And now we are at the core there. The thing is that we have designers going to the dark side, which is, okay, let's accelerate consumption. No? And there's people that are feeling unease because they think, we're creating addiction, we're creating the wrong products. No? And when we talk about the new products, this is all the things related to artificial intelligence, how we're going to interact with technology. No? And technology, at the beginning, we had to learn the language of technology. Now technology is learning our language. They started to interact with us in a different way, through artificial intelligence, data, algorithms. They are trying to understand even how we think. Now, this is what fake news, marketing, and all the people are doing. No? And the point here is that we can create what I call artificial empathy, which is connecting with the right mode, with the wrong mode to manipulate people's emotions, no? To consume, to do more consumption, or to vote the wrong option, no? Which is what Russians are doing with elections, no? And they're trying to break Europe and the Western, so you don't have to launch any missile, you just still have to put some bots and some hacking to change things, because the people are very vulnerable now, no? And they know how to do it. And this is another interesting thing. This is it was made by artists. This is an anatomy of an artificial intelligence system. This is Amazon, Alexa. What they try to do is, okay, when you talk here, you launch all these processes. Some of the processes are about resources. How do you build the material Alexa with the chips, the silicon, all the materials? At the same time, which type of processes do you launch with people? You are exploiting people in some ways. How do you impact? No, from each of the orders, how much CO2 do you generate because of the data center? No, so they try to map everything. So you, as I said, this is art. I think artists are now in a very good moment because they are making us think without any commitment with a business. No, but this is art. But the point is that any Alexa, what time is it, has a lot of implications. No. And the point is making us think about how digital systems are designed, because they look like they don't cost anything. No? They look almost free, and they are not free. No? And this is an example of design, how design works. No? This is Robinhood. I don't know if you know it. This is an application. It was investment for millennials. It was designed so any millennial can be an investor and start playing. It was free, no commissions, 0 commissions. And it was thought in terms of gamification. It was the same strategy. I don't know if you design any digital product. You do. You know the tricks, no? To make a product to be sticky. No, it's like the jackpots. You have to give the user random rewards. So they start playing, no, and say, oh, I have 3 likes. No, I have 60. I have 0, so they are all the time connecting to see how many likes they have. Also, you create a lot of profiling of users, so they can see. You can bring them to the application. The idea is that when it's free, they make what?
Yeah, I thought you can make my platform what we were discussing yesterday.
An addictive jam.
Yeah.
Jam addiction. I'm not ready for that. That could be bad, no? The problem with this application is that one 20-year-old student committed suicide because he was so addicted and he was using all the time the platform, and there was a message that was saying that if you have invested, you would owe 730,000 euros. So he thought he was broke. And it was a message because of the game. It was highly gamified. It's very, very easy to play, no? And then he thought he was totally broke, and he committed suicide. So, and this is why many of the startups are thought in terms of addiction, no? Of users, scaling. No? The problem with design now is that if you look all these new trends of design, everything looks so simple, so like eye candy. And you have an insurance company, you have a broker, you have many complex services and business look like small toys, no? Digital toys. And many of the services that we use are serious, no? And when you get creative, you start putting gamification strategies, you start doing a lot of things that makes something that is serious, like investment, make look like a game, no? Like a simple game, and it's not like a simple game, no? So this is the problem. They got a lot of scale. In fact, they get a lot of investments, like 8.3 billion. Of investment and valuation, which is very good, no? And it was because of this addiction and this easiness of usage. And this is how it works. No? You have now, it's called massive personalization. Before it was massive production, now it's massive personalization. So you have products like Netflix or Spotify that, for instance, I think that a way to meet somebody instead of putting pictures or whatever in Tinder will be send me your first screen of Netflix. No? So you have, for instance, this is from Scott Galloway. There is a course that he does, and he was talking about people on the company, no? And this is one of the users that he loves true crime and thriller movies, and you can see it. Then you have another we love romantic comedies. This is the screen, and he says that I'm an angry guy, I'm old, I'm angry with the world, and I love Hitler because Hitler was a rock star. And I love documentaries about he's not a Nazi, but he loves the tension and seeing the dark side of humanity through Hitler and the war. No? And you have a lot of people that love seeing documentaries about this. So you have like 3 different people, same product, 3 different experiences. So this can be used to create addiction, to learn new things. It can be created for many different things. So this is the intention that you have. No? In this case, it's entertaining. There are also other types of services. For instance, Canal Plus in Spain. I worked in the project many years ago, and the guy said that he didn't care if the people watched it or not, the movies. His job was keeping the people paying month by month. So when the month was leaving, it was finishing, the company used to create a catalog with a Castor's documentary. No? I said, oh, this month I can get out of Canal Plus because there's going to be a Castor's documentary that I'm never going to see. But it's like having like a status self-image. No? And also it happens with gyms. No? When you have paying the subscription and suddenly you stop paying, you feel like, oh, I never get fit in my life. No? So it's like how keep people paying even if they don't use the service. No? And this is Apple TV, the no personalization. Different users, same screen. No? So what many companies are doing now with data and advertising, imagine what you can do with this. Apply to many other things. So this is what's happening now in digital business. And this is what many people are trying to think about the sustainability of digital business, because many people are starting to think that this is not the good thing. No? Creating addiction through hyper-personalization is not the good thing. So when we think about circular economy, recycling, whatever, there is a digital issue there. No? And this is, for instance, this is Alibaba. They created a system to generate through artificial intelligence 8,000 banners per second. So every time you enter, you have promotions that were optimizing all the time, so you can buy more and more and more and more and more. So it was artificial intelligence, no people involved. Just components, you have some rules, you start testing very fast, and every time that you test, the more you test, the more personalized it gets, right? And this is the reality also in China. This is many of the ratings and the followers of many people are doing in click farms in China, no? I think this is quite interesting, like people giving the control of the Fortnite avatar to people in a farm so they can create more. So most of the digital world is based on this addiction, no? And also this addiction to likes, addiction to followers, whatever. So people pay, for instance, $10 to have like 1,000 euros, and maybe this woman will get like 50 cents, no? But this is what's happening. If you remember the Alexa map, on the top, this is what happens on the bottom of the digital infrastructure. There are a lot of people suffering and trying to end their lives. So these people also, they have to eat. So it's not sustainable, but we have to create an alternative for these people, so they have a proper job. No? This is the control. This is the China, you know the social system in China? Yes. The social system in China. That they are measuring you all the time, so you have a reputational points. And they have people, like it was 2 years ago, that 23 million people couldn't travel because they have a social score in red numbers.
Like really,
in Black Mirror, it's the same, yeah, the same.
So this is actually against many constitutions in Europe.
Yeah, the thing, and the problem here is that when you talk about how can you make the people collaborate to save the planet? There are people that they don't see the world like the West. We're all the time thinking that the people have the same mental models than us, and they don't have them. And that's the problem. And China has totally different model about privacy, about liberty, and obviously they have people that in Hong Kong and other countries that they want to have another type of life. Yeah.
Where do the points come from? Like, what do you have to do?
For instance, if you cross the street with a red semaphore, then the system takes a picture of your face. It maps it against the face recognition system, because they have this, and then they put you can have on a big screen in Shenzhen your face with a picture. You will cross in, everybody's seeing that, and you have like let me see less 50 points. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like the points, driving points, but it's self-controlled by artificial intelligence and face recognition, and you can use.
I can see your points.
I don't know about that. The point is that there are screens on some streets in some of the cities that you can see the face of the people that have been, and it's almost immediate. So this is shaming you also. Anyway, I think in China there are a lot of things happening in terms of sustainability and clean energies. A lot of things happening. But the moment China was the economy that raised the most people in history from poverty to middle class. So you have a lot of Chinese. If you go to Madrid, for instance, El Corte Inglés, which is the main magazines, there is my son used to say, why don't you call it Corte Inglés? Is like the English cat. It's about suits, no? He said, why don't they call it the Chinese cat? No, because you have Chinese employees, you have a lot of Chinese and Russian. So you think you're in another country. So China, it's a miracle, no? And so many people are saying that if they almost get out of the pandemics with this control system, there are a lot of people thinking about maybe it's the way of doing things. No, you have a powerful economy, so there are people doubting about the liberties that we have in democracy. The people are doubting about democracy is crap, because there is always the wrong people ruling the countries, right? So that's the problem, that people don't believe anymore in democracy. So there are people that is open to this, that are open to these ways of government. So I'm a good guy. I don't have anything to fear. So it's okay if I have this, no? So when we start thinking about the circular thinking, we need good examples, no? And this is the problem. I think we are saturated with crap in media. So we're at the time in this liminal moment with a lot of, you know, the mid-cal, when you have a lot of bad inputs, you start getting anxious and you start looking in terms of tunnel vision, no? You don't have a creative vision. You are scared. When you're scared, you are trying to protect yourself. You put in a corner and you are not able to collaborate or to imagine something, no? But I think there are a lot of good examples, no? For me, I'm total fan of Jacinda Ardern. I don't know if you know her. You know who is? And she talks about kindness, no? Which is, what metric is that? No? Also, I have a colleague. We sold in the 2016 a project in Greece, 2015, no 15, and it was about we had the Grexit in that moment. We sold the project, and then I have a friend of mine working for 1 year in Greece, and she was posting a lot of beautiful pictures of beaches, people in the terraces talking, and very Mediterranean, no? And I said, I know there is an economic crisis, but I'm not sure if there's the right crisis, no? And she said, maybe the crisis is in the northern Europe, no? Because they are measuring different things that we measure in the Mediterranean countries, no? So this makes us think why a lot of people is starting to think about other different metrics that are not only economical or about growth and productivity, no? And this is the liminal space where we have these new ways of doing things, and metrics are very important, no? Because these metrics are how CEOs are rewarded. Until now, they were rewarded if they have a good quarter, so the stock was going up. Now they're having a different metrics, so they have to start performing in a different way that they used to do it, no? So we're starting to have examples of Europe protecting citizens, of new governments trying to do things that curiously are women. It happens also in Finland, it happens in Germany. I think Merkel has done a terrible, terrific job, no? More or less, just being like trying to align all the people. Let's go here. We can do it. Whatever. She's been acting like a leader, no?
In Madrid with Carmen.
Madrid Carmena, yeah, and also Almeida. Almeida did it very well, I think. No Ayuso, but Almeida. When we had a change of, we have a right-wing mayor in Madrid, and he made some changes to allow traffic go through the center of Madrid. But in the pandemics, he was totally silent, working, not communicating just the right things, and many people thought that this was a good leader. He made a good job. He was about communicating and showing off. It was more about working for the city and for the citizens. No? But the idea is that we need good examples, no? Because I think reading about Trump is only making us more angry, and we are losing a lot of energy and a lot of, we're getting more in the destructive way, in the liminal going down. No? And in the United States, there are a lot of people doing very interesting things with energy, with mobility, with social business, with a lot of interesting things. No? And also corporations and cities. So not everything is Donald Trump. There are good things, and we have to start thinking about the good things. No? And also, for me, sustainability is bullshit. No? We don't have to think about sustainability. We have to think about regeneration. No? And you have, this is more or less there are graphics about this. You have to look for them. There is more or less how the people build the evolution from business as usual to regenerative. No? You have the green, which is more or less marketing. No? You have sustainability, which is okay. Let's do no harm, but we have fucked a lot of things in the past. No? So how can we recover from all the CO2 since the 18th, 19th century? No? Then be restorative, which is okay. Let's solve some of the problems. Let's help to recover some parts of the earth. No? If you fly through, you come to Rome, you see that most of the land is agriculture. There are no forests. So the country doesn't exist. The country used to be forest, but we don't have forests anymore. In Spain is the same. No? So that's one of the problems. No? How can we be restorative? Reconciliatory is that you can live in harmony with nature. The economy is living in harmony with nature, and then you go to the regenerative, which is we can save the planet because we are building an economy that doesn't attack the planet and the environment. No? And the challenge is that I think there are more spots of different things in different places. How can we create a vision that is motivating, that is inclusive, and it gives opportunities to everyone, no? And also to participate. No? And these are examples of people working to recover different parts of the land. And this is in England. There is a Rewilding England. This is an initiative about how can we regenerate different landscapes, no? in England with forests, with lakes, and cleaning everything. No? In Madrid, it happened when the river was cleaned and open to the people. Suddenly, you start having ducks and fishes in record time. So it was an interesting thing about the regenerative capacity of nature sometimes. No? You give some space. These are products. The problem with this is that, for me, there is a lot of greenwashing here. No? There are products that, okay, let's do these interesting bottles, but it depends. No? Sometimes it's another way of doing marketing. No? Because sustainability has like 3 different layers. One is efficiency and cost saving. If you consume less energy, you can have a lot of cost saving. So it's good for that. It's the material side of sustainability. Then you have risks and reputation. So the people are not saying that you are exploiting people in third world countries, or you are not, for instance, these businesses that were fined by governments because they polluted land with chemicals in like 50 years ago with another law. It wasn't illegal in that moment, no? But now they are paying because of reputational things. So you have the reputation one, and the last layer is about the new businesses and new consumers, no? New customers, no? New demands from the people. So you have different layers, and you have to articulate, because if you don't provide a bottom line to a business, the people won't move. If you don't provide something that is useful and interesting for the customers, They will do the same as business. No, I wish there are no flights, but I go on holidays. No, I wish the people don't buy meat because it's bad, but give me a Whopper. No, so this is the thing. How can we create, from personalizing and understanding the different mindsets of people, how can we create something that in the end adds up to the sustainable and generative ways of doing business? This is a brand that is doing that, Unilever, and what they're doing is creating a line of sustainable products, and they are working, they're generating business with this. So people are buying this type of products. No? 70% of growth of the company is coming from sustainable products. So the point is, they are connecting the purpose with the product, no? With the business. That's what has to be done. No? We have Google using artificial intelligence to optimize the data center consumption, right? So when we design transitions, we have to think about that. No? We have to connect all the spiritual part, the impact on the planet, with the material, the business profit, the customer's needs, and the material needs, and also the salaries. Because if you want to be a customer, you have to be an employee. No? So how can we connect the purpose, the mission? For me, everything of this is bullshit. But purpose, mission, vision, the goals, the strategy, products and services, and business bottom line. That's the challenge. No? At the moment, as we said, so you have purpose is like a light that is taking everything. No? But in many cases, the purpose is like here, just floating. The strategy is here, the products and services are there. No? So how can we create this perfect alignment between the purpose and the business, and what are the components that make this line work? No? But we still have a lot of crappy products and crappy companies. This is how the innovation, they're going fast. These are examples of production. There are a lot of companies trying to manufacture products in a different way, creating new structures for manufacturing. You have new spaces. This is Toyota Woven City, which is like a prototype. Kirilla in Saudi Arabia. It is designed by Boston Consulting, which let's see what happens when you design a city with PowerPoint. No? Moelven Homes is a way of building that is sustainable, and also it can isolate the houses so you don't have this consumption of heating, of energy. No? So the point is that there is a lot of people doing interesting things but are disconnected, and they are totally out of the economy. No? And the point is, how can we create this and make it business as usual? No? But at the moment there is a lot of ideas, so we can get inspiration and connect things. No? Because I think there are most of the people are trying to do good, and in corporations it's happening. I see a lot of people that they are moved by sincere purpose, but they don't have the tools, or they don't have the mindset of to make it in a different way. But I see a lot of people trying to do the right thing. But at the moment they have to pay for a mortgage, they have to, so they feel like this connection between what they do, as at the beginning Julia was saying, no? I feel disconnected from my purpose in my job. So for many people, connect your salary with your purpose is a luxury. No? These are other samples. These are inserts for diapers that you can reuse. So because the babies are the more polluting cells in the beings in the earth. No? So this is these little gardens. I don't know if you know them. They are in London Underground. You can go to all the tunnels that are totally abandoned, and they created a farm for food. So there are a lot of people doing things, but at the moment they are not. Obviously, they are like pilots, so they are totally isolated. No? This is in Sweden. You have the re-commerce and repair. No? A lot of people trying to resell and to reuse, and this will have an impact in a lot of factories and a lot of manufacturing workers, and so we have to design this transition, right? So when we think about the difference between the West and China, this is, I think, what is the interesting part, is that in the West we think about rational plans. Okay, let's do this, no? And if not, we go through force and the carrot and the stick. We try to impose the plan on reality, no? So we have that is based on an ideal model. And you have to incorporate it into a factual reality, no? And this is how the wars were made in Europe, no? And you have a plan, material and quantification. It was about having more soldiers and more fortifications, more powerful weapons. It was about thinking about a machinery. The army was like a machinery, and you have to automate it. And the thing that broke everything was the human factors. So you have the people, when you put people in a battlefield, sometimes it happens. But you try to start with a position of strength at the beginning, with a lot of volume and a lot of quantification. No? And in China, it's not like that. China is more like flowing with the reality. It's about, okay, what are my opportunities and how can we adapt so we can, when we see things moving, we can flow through the situation. And when you win the battle, it's a logical thing because you have everything in advance. So you have the heroic generals in Europe because they fight and they die for the plan. And in China, the generals were anonymous almost because it was logical. We had everything in our side. No? So for instance, for them is courage. Soldier courage is not about something that it was defined before the battle. It was something that you could see in the moment. So you are in a good position, you will be more courageous than you are in a bad position. So the point is, how can I put my soldiers so they feel more courageous, no? And they used to manage and flow with the situation, no? So the success cannot be predetermined in advance, but you can assess what is going to be your opportunities. Then it's about physical and spiritual things, about how many soldiers you have, but also how do they feel, how can you manipulate these feelings, no? It's not about a plan and, okay, move, no? Then it's also about interaction, polarity and interdependence. It's not black or white, like we have the 5 secrets for digital transformation, 5 secrets to get lean, no. They flow, and they have also a long view of the opportunities. It's not about winning immediately. They have they're more patient, no? And also allow an effect to come about. It's, okay, let's wait. We're doing our job. Things will happen, no? And this is about, in the end, it's about the yin and the yang. How can you flow through the situation? And I think this is what many digital companies are doing with artificial intelligence and data. They're adapting all the time. The old companies are moving in the Western general way, no? Also, we have to do this, I think, with nature, with environment, trying to flow with environment. At the moment, we're at war with environment, no? We have this mentality. And we have to start thinking in this way. And China is also sometimes in this place, but they're trying now to do a lot of recycling. There's a lot of people, they were poor, so they need to consume. But China, I think, is investing a lot in innovation and other things. So trying to live in accordance with nature. No? This is the circular economy model. Do you know this? Ellen MacArthur Foundation. This is important to see it because I think Ellen MacArthur is now engaging a lot of big companies, and it's quite interesting what is happening. No? I have some friends working there, and they feel really motivated. I think, well, corporations, I don't like corporations, but I think it's the only way because corporations won't disappear. So we have to make them change and make them accountable for the impact in the planet. No? And the people in the corporations will feel better if they have their measures, their success are measured by the impact also, no? Because now they are measured in terms that many people don't like. No? We have to understand also the history of things. Why are we here? No? What is the past? No? And also the patterns. You have different revolutions, and we see that there are similar patterns. In my professional life, I saw 3 digital waves. One was the .com, the other one was 2.0, then mobility, and now this is artificial intelligence. And you have the same. You have people doing small startups with a lot of purpose. Suddenly they start growing like by a surprise. No? Then they get a lot of investors, they have a lot of interest in the market, you have a lot of startups, you have these collections of logos, you know, CBN sites and all these. Every moment they have a lot of small companies starting, money start entering, you have the old people getting into the business because they can invest. No? And then you have all companies, the CEO opening a Twitter account, opening a blog, whatever, no? And they try to jump into the wave, no? Then the wave totally explodes. There is a lot of concentration and consolidation of companies. Many of them disappear, and then you have like big companies that survive. In the first wave was Amazon and Google. The second could be Facebook. In the third wave could be Uber, for instance. And the fourth wave, now you have all these they call GAFA, no? Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple, they are surviving because they have everything. They have artificial intelligence, they have data, they have content, they have search, they have everything, no? So the idea is, if you know the past and you see how an old trend is deploying now, you can start to understand what are we generating today for the future, no? I think many of the things of today and the future are repetitions of the past, with some adaptations, obviously. No? And there is always one thing, which is the human condition. We have fear, we have people get born, they grow, they fall in love, they want to have children, and through that there is a lot of complexities. No? And also finding nonlinear patterns. No? You can find a lot of things that are repeating, and people in the old way of seeing things, they used to think in rules. No? This is the algorithm for. Now the people that are more creative, they find unrelated ideas and they make connections and they can create something new. When the people say, for instance, to me that you are very creative, I always said, no, I have the lack of being able to connect things that seems unrelated to you, but not creative, because the ideas are being happened with other people. No? They're not my ideas, they are connections of the ideas. I'm sure that many people are having the same idea than me, so it's not original. No? So the point is that you have to imagine the future, knowing the past, what happened, no? Why these empires fall, no? What's going to happen with US, no? with the United States, with Trump? What happens when you have people that are, they have hubris, no? That they find they have the moment of a fall, no? You try to understand also how trends develop and also define the potential, like the Chinese, no? Okay, what is the potential of the situation? How can I make these forces work into my favor, no? You have a lot of Greta Thunberg with a lot of young people mobilizing, parents that they want to create a better world for their children, but at the same time they have to pay for the schools, no? So how can we start to understand all these nonlinear patterns and find what is the right future, and how can we create and define this potential so we can create something new, no? And these are examples, for instance, when you talk about traffic, it's about being creative with new business models and ownership. This is the mobility ecosystem. You have at the beginning ownership of cars, but you have Mercedes moving from owning a car to share car and to e-hailing. So they're thinking about mobility, not selling only cars, but selling more services, no? You have, for instance, the same with Renault, with City, but at the same time you have Uber moving from e-hailing to personal mobility with the scooters, and at the same time with Uber Eats, no? So instead of moving yourself, you move the food until your house, no? Or Deliveroo. No, you don't have to move. So mobility is about moving people or moving things, no? And they rethink, not in terms of selling cars, but selling services, no? And this is a way of being sustainable. But we have to find how to make the economy work so the people can have decent jobs and decent salaries, no? The problem is that here, in these parts, are a lot of exploitation. And also, I'm finishing. Also, I think that is very interesting is one concept that is called polarity management. No, because one thing that and it's a trap that I had, a bias, talking from centralized to decentralized, from human to machine, like if it was totally opposites, no? And one was good and the other one was bad. And it's not like that. Normally you have like a pole, you have to manage it, like Chinese, they talk about interdependence. You never will solve the problems between centralized and decentralized, never. Because it's going to be moving, and if you are too centralized, you will feel at the same time you have control, but at the same time you can feel restrained, so you can't innovate anymore. So you are here, you standardize, you scale, you control, whatever. Then suddenly everything gets like very constrained, so you can't innovate anymore. And then, okay, the good thing is moving from centralized to decentralized, and then, okay, let's work in small independent teams, let's innovate, and suddenly it becomes a chaos. And so suddenly you have all the people saying, okay, we need to centralize the development, so we can have control and we can create quality systems, no? So you have all the time moving like this. But the digital transformation gurus, they talk about from structure to flexibility. You need a structure. If you don't have a structure, you won't make any money. This is what I say to many people. You can be all the time pedaling in a bicycle. You need sometimes a motor that goes along so you can do other things. And this is the role of technology, trying to automate the things that are boring for us and creating and freeing our minds and ideas to do new things with that. No? So the point is that we think hope and reality, you need both. No, if people don't have hope and you are a realist and no, you are idealist. No? So you need to mix both. You need an idea and a vision and then move into reality and to make reality that vision. So the point is that we need to start thinking in polarities, managing. It's not that black or white, it's that it depends on the moment. No? And this is a problem in many companies, that the people are selling cost and quality. No? And it depends. No? Cost, you need to control cost and you need to deliver enough quality so you can move through the poles. No? Also, you need to learn faster. This is how a company learns, what are the mental models and assumptions that they have, what are the principles and the policies that you use to rule the company, what type of experiments of actions you do, and what are the learnings and results. And then, if you have, like here, this is optimizations. No? You have an action, you launch a product, for instance, you in Philo, you launch a small iteration, you see the effect and you optimize it a little bit. But suddenly you can discover that some parts of the business is not working properly, so you have to change a rule, not only just a small button in an application. And suddenly sometimes you think, oh, people are not using Philo as I thought. I have to change my assumptions about the users. No, you change another level. And finally, you change the learning framework. You are more open to learn. So you have a more adaptable company. No? And this is what the Chinese, military Chinese culture used to do. It's able to learn from the results and adapt until the beginning. No? You have different loops of learning. So to end, this is a graphic. Okay, so you have a business. You have a customer-facing part, which is this part, and a company-facing part. No? And you have the value proposition and the operating model. The value proposition is what the people pay. The operating model is how you make the money flow. So you have here innovation and engagement, you have here costs and operations, which is more, for many people is boring, but there are people that enjoy a lot operations. It's not my case. And you have also the purpose, the brand, which is what the people perceive, but sometimes they can verbalize what it means a brand, but they feel that this brand is special to me. And also the culture of the organization internally. So you have like an ecosystem, no? And when you think about the rest, you have internally, you have the suppliers and the customers. No? So this is the experience that you provide and the marketing, how you sell and what you sell. No? It can be a product, a service, whatever. And these are the people and the processes and the platforms and the technology. How you make the people work and what tools are you giving to these people. No? Is this a culture about centralization, or is it a culture about innovation? No? So it depends, the culture can change. No? Then you have the final layers, you have the community or society and investors, and the environment is surrounding everything. The product and the profit. Okay, so how can we connect this to make something that, because when we think about sustainability, we think consumption is bad, but we are consuming all the time. So how can we help companies, how can we to make easier for us being sustainable? Because if you don't find it easy, many people won't do it. People are looking for convenience. I did many sustainability work years ago, and we have in energy we have people that it was called my comfort, and they only switched to a sustainable modes of energy if it were cheap or easier. So you have to design not for manipulation and addiction like we saw with the Robinhood app, but also for sustainability. How can we make all this cheaper, easier, convenient, so you feel good? Because if not, we're going to have people eating hamburgers feeling bad, no? But they're solving their more immediate cravings, no? So the end, and this is why we're talking about consumers, fuck the consumer, don't sell crap, don't buy crap. But we have to learn how to don't make and don't build crap, no? Because the problem is that many companies live at the moment from selling crap. How can we change that so the people, we can connect both? And this is polarity again. This is about how can we create something that can evolve faster and faster to create a new economy, no? And I think a lot of people is looking for that, but they still don't have the mental models, the assumptions, or the tools to do it. But if you do it, you make it easier, you make it simple, and you make it sexy, because the problem with sustainability, one thing I was talking with people before was, how can we celebrate scarcity? We're talking before now about the breakfast room in the Shangri-La Hotel. I was in the Shangri-La Hotel like 1 year ago, and it was abundant, a lot of fruit, of food. Now you have little pieces of food and a waiter serving you. So it's very sad, and you feel like, wow, we are fucked. How can we create something that looks not like a loss, no? Like we are mourning when we were rich and we will have a lot of fruit and food. How can we make this the new way of thinking? Because as animals, we think more in abundance, no? It gives us security. How can we make scarcity sexier? We need to have more books, paper books, to look like we are. It's my case. Whoever has talked with me through Zoom, I have a lot of books behind me, and they are true. I should have like a virtual, but it's because I'm very insecure and I need to make the people think that I know a lot. No, I read a lot. It must be a very interesting guy. I buy a lot of books for that. No, but the point is that that we have to understand the human condition, how the people work, how the revolutions work, how the transitions work when they are violent or where they are, because normally in history we can find a lot of patterns for this, no? And the point is that understanding all these forces to flow with them, because if we go like you are not sustainable, you are not ethical, whatever, we're going to create a lot of, and you are a cynical or you are whatever, no? So we're not creating collaboration. So we have to find this central space, which should be a purpose that is resonating for everybody and relevant, to make collaboration and then open and growing into the business and to the clients, right? And that's all. I don't know if this graphic makes sense. It looks like a circle. And that's all.